welcome to Cruising with Kevin and Jennifer. First stop, Texas Coffee Bar in Corpus Christi. We stopped for a quick coffee before we started our day and headed out. I just wanted to give you a quick tour of the Airbnb we stayed at here in Corpus Christi. It was a two-bedroom, one bathroom. There was a outdoor area and a pool right outside. Um, Had a full kitchen and a full living room, which was a great place to hang out and chill in between places. Once we got motivated to get our day going, we had lunch at U&I Seafood.
All right, we tried U&I Seafood and Steaks here for lunch. Here's trying something that was on the way. We're going to go check out a couple of things here today, but they had Rockefeller style oysters that were actually really good there, but everything else was meh. They overcooked it. It was like a lunch special where they put like angel hair, and it was like in this weird sauce. Like it was like basically like soup poured around with angel hair, and then a chunk of like kind of wasn't even grilled. It was like breaded chicken in the middle. It was super weird, and it was like rubbery. And then she had mahi, also like way overcooked. And then I don't know, we had a couple other things there. Soup, I guess, that was just basically like out of the can and stuff. So yeah, it wasn't amazing, but the oysters were the best part. That's the best oysters that we've had in town so far, but everything else was kind of disappointing. So anyways, we're gonna move on to the next place here. All right, next stop for us here, we're gonna take the family out, or at least the little kids. We're gonna take them to check out the USS Lexington behind us here. It's looks like it's a warship with a aircraft carrier, so I have no idea what it's all about. I know it's a pretty popular attraction here, so we did the one that was down in Mobile, Alabama area before, and that was an actual battleship, so that was pretty cool. So this will be a pretty cool experience, I think. So we're gonna check that out now.
Welcome to the USS Lexington Museum, located in beautiful Corpus Christi, Texas, home to an iconic piece of naval history floating on the sparkling waters of the Gulf. Affectionately known as the Blue Ghost, the USS Lexington is not just any aircraft carrier, but a storied vessel with a compelling past and future dedicated to education and inspiration. It was launched in 1942. The USS Lexington, or CV-16, served with distinction during World War II. She was named in honor of the previous USS Lexington, which was lost earlier in the Battle of the Coral Sea. Fascinating, this carrier was meant to be the USS Cabot, but her name was changed to keep the spirit of Lexington alive. The Japanese, believing they had sunk her multiple times, dubbed her the Blue Ghost because she kept returning to paddle, a true testament to her resilience and the valor of her crew. It's actually really cool. When we were walking through the museum, we had seen a bunch of different things talking about the Lexington and how it had actually, the Japanese had actually thought that they sunk it more than once. And all of a sudden it kept coming back, and it wasn't that it was sunk, it's just they didn't see it. And that's actually where the term the Ghost came, which was actually really cool. During the wartime service with the Fifth Fleet, the Lexington saw action in nearly every major operation in the Pacific Theater. She participated in key battles, including the Battle of Philippine Sea and the invasion of Iwo Jima. The Lexington earned a total of 11 battle stars and a Presidential Unit Citation for her service. Her aircraft were credited with downing over 1,000 Japanese planes. It was a record for the Fast Carrier Task Force.
Japanese bombers also attacked the Navy Yard dry docks and bombed the battleship Pennsylvania.
Disney's Pearl Harbor movie was actually seen, it was all filmed here in 2001. which is actually really cool. This was the actual bunker area that they used for that.
Heighten and enhance the scope and scale of the film's massive battle scenes. The filmmakers needed to look beyond the physical resources they had put in place and step into the world of new computer technology.
I literally had 9 planes to create an Air Force of 350.
Yeah, but that one, and then it has cards.
At least they had decent beds in there.
What is all the pieces? I don't think that's like that.
Dinner. As you can see from the place settings, we are getting ready to eat. I would ask you to join us, but if you notice the grill, there's only enough steaks for me and my guests. However, I hope you can join us on a future visit.
This was really cool. You got to see the actual captain quarters. This was where they slept. They had actually pretty big quarters compared to some of the other ships that we've seen in the past. It was actually really cool.
Was multifunctional. This compartment would act as a staging area where pilots would stand by after being briefed concerning a mission's objective or to be debriefed after a mission was flown. This was also the pilot's battle station. Many hours of waiting took place in this compartment, sometimes only to have the mission scrubbed due to weather conditions or any number of operational situations. This time was passed by playing cards and conversing about home. This ready room was made possible with donations of artifacts and information from members of BB-19. That is all.
That is all.
After the war, the Lexington was decommissioned, but was given a new lease on life as an attack carrier and later as an anti-submarine carrier. In 1962, she began a new mission, serving the fleet as a training carrier. For an incredible 30 years, she was stationed in Pensacola, Florida, training thousands of young men and women in naval aviation. It's estimated she qualified more pilots than any other carrier in history. We actually got to watch a video about how they take off on this runway here and how they have to use these like I guess they're like straps that catch them to stop them super fast, and that's really interesting. I'm sure you could watch something about it on YouTube or whatever, but it was super cool watching how they had to be so precise with their takeoff and their landing, and it's such a short airstrip that they can actually land on, so they don't have a long airway, or you can see like this is not like a regular, it's not the size of an airport, so they have such a limited space that they can actually take off on.
All right, we're gonna walk down to the end here, or what?
No, that's the plane.
Oh no, that feels kind of sketcher.
It wasn't until November 26, 1991, that the U.S. Lexington actually found her permanent home in Corpus Christi, transforming into the museum ship we know today. This floating museum offers over a dozen exhibits, including the flight deck, the aircraft gallery with vintage planes, and the Pearl Harbor exhibit. There's also the breathtaking view from the bridge that evokes the aurora of commanding such a mighty vessel.
About 40 Kev, you can just keep proceeding 12 knots straight to buoy number 3.
Keep going.
Visitors to the museum can explore 5 levels of the ship, which encompass 100,000 square feet of exhibit space.
I can't see the ship.
Actually, really interesting. They made this escalator here because it was easier for the flight crew with all of
That's
their
interesting.
Yeah, with all of their stuff on, to get up and down the ship easier instead of climbing up the stairs or the ladders.
It has more telephones than the city of 5,000.
One of the really cool things about going and doing these tours is being able to see that they actually had everything on this ship. It was like a town. They had barbers, they had dentists, they had doctors. One particularly moving part of the museum is its dedication to honoring those who served abroad
Holy.
here. Through personal artifacts, photos, stories, the U.S. Lexington Museum pays tribute to the bravery and sacrifice of its veterans, including an inspiring hall of remembrance. This was their bunker room, and they actually called these coffin bunks. You can see how they lock them in there. Pretty crazy.
7 procedures a year with up to 35 patients a day. That's a lot of teeth.
You have to press that, and then you can listen to the story. No, don't press that.
Hi, I'm Charlie, and I've been watching over the Lexington since December 4th.
Oh, these ones are steep.
They're steep.
City theater evaluations,
All right, guys. Well, we went through the ship there, took a little few snippets to show you guys. There's quite a bit in here. I would say it wasn't quite as original. They kind of made it more gimmicky or commercially, I guess, than the USS Alabama, the fighter ship over in Mobile, Alabama that we went to before. I had it posted on my channel. So I don't know. It's definitely still interesting though. It's super cool seeing like how these like fighter like type planes and everything landed and everything, how it all worked on here. So it was super cool. Definitely a cool piece of history. Like I said, it's just a little more commercialized than the other one, and I think that made it not quite as cool as the other one, but needless to say, still worth checking out. We paid, I think, $75 for 2 adults, 2 kids, which again, that was, whatever, but I understand it costs money to do this. So yeah, well, that was it for now. We're getting to the end of our trip here, so we'll see what else we find. All right, we're at the Blue Clove. Trying some food here.
This looks better than.
The food came out, it was fresh and amazing. It was probably one of the better meals we'd had, way better than our lunch, that's for sure. We really enjoyed this meal. That was about a wrap for Corpus Christi. Here we are leaving the island. We're actually heading out. We'll show you a couple stops on the long way. We stopped at a little coffee shop. I'm going to look up the name and make sure I put this on here for you. It was just a little coffee shop kind of in the middle of nowhere. They had a really cool play area and rest area for the kids. It was just on our drive back. Hi there, how are you?
Paint Rock Wool Warehouse. Hand woven wool rugs, saddle blankets. Looks like it's like almost still open.
For about 26 kilometers, keep straight.
The old courthouse, city hall. Did you see they still had the jury duty there?
No, I did not.
Holy cow, some cool old buildings, man. Coffee shop still open.
Coffee shop looks like it's new.
It does. It looks like it was just renovated. Look at these houses though. It's crazy.
And just like that, welcome to colorful Colorado, guys. After a super long day of driving, we stopped at Phantom Canyon Brewing Company for an amazing meal. I had their grilled salmon salad. Kevin had their shepherd's pie. Lita had got some mac and cheese, and John, I'm pretty sure he got a grilled cheese sandwich. Everybody's food was spectacular. They had some really good beers on tap, so it was a perfect top off to this great trip. So make sure you follow us along on our next adventure. But that is all for this one, guys. Have a great day. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Cruising with Kevin and Jennifer, Cruising with Kevin. And you can also find me free and on the road and on Instagram.